Hey guys, my name is Shani and welcome back to another episode of Sitting with Shar. Welcome back to my cozy, comfy space where I get to sit down with some lovely people and we just kind of sit and chat and chill and hang out. And today I am so fucking honored to have a lady here. Firstly, I want to say thank you so much for coming on here because I genuinely, we play D&D together, right? And I remember Scarlett introduced me into the D&D group, and when I saw that you were there, I nearly passed out. I was like, are you kidding me? I get to hang out with a lady for a fucking year? What do you mean? You are literally...
That's crazy. Because,
What?
first of all, thank you for having me here. But also, I used to watch you on Twitch all the time. So, for you to
Fuck
say,
off.
the opposite way to me is, so
No.
crazy. Yes, I used to always watch your Minecraft.
Shut up. I'm gonna pass out. So literally you are this is just a podcast of us fangirling over each other. So that's
Yeah.
the whole episode. I genuinely, you are one of I think the biggest Australian streamer I know. You have such a huge consistent following, which is just, I was always inspired by what you do. You, in my mind, you have always been on this next level tier of how you think and how you work and everything, and you are so inspiring to me as a creator that as I said, when I saw that you were on D&D with me, I was like, holy shit. I was like, oh my fucking god, how is a lady here? And then you're this amazing creator, but you're also just the sweetest fucking human. And you can swear on here, by the way, too, because I have no I have no filter. I literally I can't get over just how down to earth and how lovely you are. You have helped me out with so much stuff on Twitch and YouTube and just content creation in general. And I am just I'm so honored to have you on my podcast. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. It's I don't know how to take a compliment. I am so bad at taking
Me
compliments.
too.
So many people are like that. It's I love making this content, but nobody give me praise about it because I don't.
Yeah, exactly. People give me compliments. I'm
I'm just doing my thing.
Literally. And thank you for being here. This is kind of my crazy little space where I want to deep dive into things that I don't want to discuss too much on stream, because it can be a bit heavy, and then I also feel there's too much content to make a YouTube video out of it, and so we just found ourselves in this crazy little space where you get to sit down and hang out with me and we just chat.
Yeah, I love it because because I don't stream as much anymore. Now that I focus on YouTube content, I don't really have a space of my own where I kind of just sit and chat. This was just I feel streams usually do that for you. So this is great to be doing this.
Honestly, come on here as much as you want. Absolutely, just message me.
Be say that I'll be here all the time.
You're welcome to me. You can live here if you like. Literally, you can message me and be podcast in an hour, and I'll be yeah, sure, let's go. Every guest I've had on here has been please, can I come back? And it's this is just a thing in my head, and I just thought it worked because I just talk my ass off all the time. It's crazy to me that people watch and listen and enjoy what I do. So it's yeah, you are welcome here anytime, honestly.
Thank you.
Of course. Lady, tell me a bit about yourself, because I've followed you for a while on a lot of your content, but in case someone has been living under a rock, please fill us in. Tell us a bit about yourself.
I feel I should have an elevator pitch at this point, but I don't about myself. But I guess my intro to how I came to be where I am and my content, I think it starts where a lot of people started in the pandemic. A lot of creators that I talk to now are yeah, I started in 2020.
Yeah.
We were all trapped in at home.
Yeah.
I can specifically remember I always knew about Twitch existing because that's where I got my start. And but I always just had this image of Twitch being people screaming at FPS games. I think that was my exposure to Twitch prior to anything else. And then Animal Crossing came out right as the pandemic hit. It was like this like gold combination
I mean,
of the
honestly,
pandemic and a new Animal Crossing game.
Animal Crossing saved us in the pandemic. Like,
It literally did.
honestly, what would we have done otherwise?
I don't know. I got back from a trip early 2020 that got cut short because like COVID hit and I had to come back. And Animal Crossing literally like was coming out right then, and I didn't have to go back to work yet because I still had like my holidays, so I was like 24/7 Animal Crossing, and that's when I
great.
discovered another side of Twitch that was
Yeah.
like all the other people that aren't in FPS,
Yeah.
and I was like, hey, I could just do this. Like I'm doing it anyway. Like I can't do anything besides work. And if I'm gonna game, I might as well just like throw it up.
Yeah.
I had no plans starting when I started streaming.
Yeah.
I played pretty obscure games. Like I didn't play like popular stuff. I can't remember the first game that I played, but it was like a random escape style game that I was streaming, and then I streamed a bit of Animal Crossing and Little Big Planet 3. I don't know if you're
Yeah.
familiar with Little Big Planet.
Yeah. My partner
That's kind of,
loves it.
yeah, it's got great humor. Got great humor in the
Yeah.
game. So just random things. And then I just like enjoyed it so much that it kept growing. And then the next big thing to happen was I switched from Twitch to YouTube.
Yeah.
And that was like just a combination of reasons. I felt like if you ever saw my streams or if you were to look back at any like past content, I always had a big focus of like trying new things and trying different things. Like, and I was more into the creative side of creating content than the entertainment side, which I feel like
Yeah.
Twitch, a big thing about Twitch is being an entertainer, and I had
Yeah.
no interest in being this like entertainer essentially. And I had different series going on. Like I had one of my favorite ones was a Minecraft series I had where it was like the chat interaction where you could use your channel point redemptions to make things happen in Minecraft. That was so much fun.
That's
And you had to like code it all, and I would just spend hours doing like building that.
That's amazing.
And then I decided to move to YouTube because I was more into that creative process and the storytelling and more deep dives into games. And that's when I started. I did for a while, did YouTube and Twitch at the same time. And then I just found that I was enjoying YouTube more, and slowly like just Twitch kind of just like fell to the wayside.
Yeah.
And I think a part of that is also, I don't like to say that I'm a cozy gamer, but I like to say that I'm a wholesome gamer.
Love
Whereas
that.
like I take a positive and open mindset to any game approach, but I don't just play cozy games. Like
Yeah.
I've been known to play Valorant, and I've known to
Yeah.
play, all kinds of games. So
Yeah.
I
Honestly,
guess that's my summary.
your channel is so, it's another thing that like inspired me, because like my current goal with Twitch is to overcome my fear of like trying new games. I have this like perfectionist thing in me that is like, I can't I can't play games. Like, and like I came onto Twitch not being able to play games. I was so shit at it. Like literally, it was also like during the time where I didn't fully understand Minecraft. Like I would be hiding in a well lit room in case things spawned in the room. Like it was like that. No clue what I was doing. Seeing your content and seeing like how diverse and like how many games you have done, and like how like the series that you are doing with the top game of each year, like
Yeah.
blows my mind. Like just
I mean, we
so
can
good.
get into that series too, because like one of the reasons that I started it, and like going on from your point of like having that perfectionism is like playing games. I kind of had, and just in like the content world in general, a little bit of imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Oh my god,
Because I
yes.
feel like this plays into like women and girls playing games as well. We're kind of put under a magnifying glass when we say we play a certain game
Yep.
or a kind of game, and you get the 1,001 questions about like everything you know about it. And I feel like we have to come armed with more information than the average gamer when we say we play a kind of game.
Yeah.
And so for my own interest, I just wanted to dive into the history of video games, but also just like the things that I have. I think I've completed 3 uploaded 3 of them in the series so far.
Yeah.
Starting at 1971, doing each year, and I think just the things I have learned is just like crazy. Just researching those
so
3
cool.
games. It's been a lot of fun just for me personally, but it also played into that like imposter syndrome where I was like, I need to be good at a game, or I need to know everything about the game.
Yeah, honestly, it's there's so much pressure, and honestly, that is like the most natural segue into what we're doing today. It's casual, casual transition. Today we are talking about something that I honestly, another reason I admire you. I think it is actually one of the first things I ever saw from you in terms of like social media posting and things was about girls gaming, girls who play games, girls who stream, girls who create content, and I I just kind of wanted to sit down with you today and like talk about our experiences because I feel like you see a lot of things on like Twitter or X or whatever it is now. It changes every 2 minutes.
What are we calling it?
What is it? It's we can't even say like the bird app. The bird's gone. Like this, like I don't even know what it is. All on socials, you see things about like women who need to, like women should be equal in gaming and their experiences and things. But I don't think you hear a lot from women and what their experiences have been. And I kind of wanted to sit down with you because I know you have a massive following. I can only imagine that you've had some experiences where, for whatever reason, like people are centering the conversation around your gender, not your experiences, not your just how you play games and how you run your content. And like I kind of wanted to talk to you about what you've experienced, what I've experienced, and maybe raise some like awareness around it. And do that.
Yeah. It's like it's a world of things to talk about.
Where do you start?
I feel like we also when we talk about this, we also like to center around about like what's happening right now. I can jump into an experience that I had recently. An in real life experience that I had with someone.
Oh, great.
We were meeting up with some friends at a well-known gaming location. Well, I won't name it. But there was a whole bunch of people there. Friends of friends were there, and we were kind of got onto the conversation of esports as we flowed on, which I feel like is a whole other realm.
Yeah.
That's like separate from just gaming itself.
Absolutely.
But there was like a comment made that essentially in summary was if girls and guys could play the games, if girls could play the games just as well as guys, then there would be more women in esports right now. Like it would be 50-50 is essentially what the comment was. And I think it just completely ignored the entire history of like how society perceives video gaming and girls playing video games.
Yeah.
Because we've only just stepped into the space and time where it's becoming acceptable that girls are on video games. So like how like these guys who are at the top of their game in esports have probably spent their entire lives playing these games and similar games to it, whereas we have faced so many things. For example, like you might have had this experience in school, but I just like can clearly remember in high school, I have an older brother, so that introduced me to a lot of games that were like aimed at boys. So one of the game series that I loved growing up was the Fallout series. I don't know if you've ever played the Fallout series.
Yes, my partner once again obsessed. Like, can you see the gun on my shelf?
Oh yes,
I got him that for our anniversary one year, and he fucking loves it. Yeah. Continue. Sorry.
I mean, amazing series. So when I was in high school, I remember I was playing that, and if you like brought up video games come up in school and you'd be like, yeah, I'm playing this, and then you just get this wave, like I said before, 1,001 questions, like, do you really play that game? Do you really know like what what difficulty you play on? Like those kinds of questions. And you like growing up, I think you miss out on a lot of those basic like in-game comms like scenarios. Like if you if I compare my experience to like the guys I went to school with, they would go home from school and get on the Xbox and they're on Halo and they're on COD and they're on talking to each other like
Yeah.
while they're playing the game. So they get this whole experience. And that's like your introductions to if you're going to go into esports or you're going to go into professional gaming, like that is the path.
Yeah.
But then when I went home and played games, like I don't know any other girl in my school that was playing video games.
Absolutely.
And if I was to try and play with the guys, like that is an experience all on its own.
Well, yeah, look, it's like, especially like back in those days, like during school, like it was so segregated in terms of like, I can't even imagine like trying to play with other guys. Like even if you were amazing at the game, like I think it's kind of similar for me with first person shooters and things like Dead by Daylight and Valorant and League, and there's these games in my mind that are kind of like don't touch because I'm like, there are a lot of people in there that if you can't play it well or if you let people down or whatever, like they're gonna rip you to shreds. And a lot of those people are guys, not all of them, but like a lot of them are people who've been playing for a long time. A lot of them are people who, when they find out that you're a girl, and this is still like it's still on social media. I still see TikToks about this where guys are finding out that one of the players is a girl, and the reactions to it, it's like no wonder they didn't tell you that they were a girl. Like, there's a decent reason for that, and it's it kind of seems similar in my mind with the segregation and the, I guess, gatekeeping of like the entire thing. Whereas like now that I've been streaming for nearly 3 years, actually 3 years this week. Whoa, that's weird. 3 years this week I've been streaming. I've just realized it's this week. I've got the stream. Like, crazy. And it's like in that 3 years, like I'm a lot better at games than I used to be. I've gone back to games that I used to be really bad at, and like my motor skills are a lot better, and like my general understanding of how games work is a lot better. But there's still that thing there where it's like, you're a female, you know, like, it's like you said, you're going to get tested and quizzed on your knowledge, your experience, and like, even then, like, I still stream and do things, and I get guys coming on my streams and being like, why aren't you doing this? Well, you should be doing this. And it's like, it's at the point where I've had to like put in like a, you know, no backseat gaming, because it's so many people do it.
Yeah, like if I go back to like that original comment that was made, it's like you can't compare the current esports environment or the current professional gaming environment with men and women, because the men have had decades of experience. And like for me personally, obviously I don't represent the whole, but I didn't pick up my first proper FPS games like CSGO and Valorant until I was in my 20s, where most of these guys who are in the professional sports now have probably been playing them or something similar since they were like 8 or 10.
Absolutely.
So I think we just like give it some time. Give it a chance. And also we're still battling these things, like all these comments, and like you say, getting on stream and you feel like you can't start these games because there's no space for a beginner to step up, especially as a woman. But if you ever want to jump into games, I will happily hold your hand.
Thank you.
If you are ever interested, because I've been there, done that.
It is so scary, but it's also like, it's sad because you hear like these games are really good, and like, you know, I have Dead by Daylight on my computer.
They're so fun. They're actually so much fun.
I have,
and especially when you're in with friends, like it's so much fun.
And it's like, that's the other thing too. Like I think like, I don't know if I'll include this on the pod or not, but like last night with like playing Valorant with you guys, like I wasn't playing, but like I typically play games by myself now. Back when I first started streaming, there used to be like a friend group that I would like join in with, and like we had like a Minecraft server and all this stuff, and it's like, it's there was some people in that group that just were horrible to me because of my success, but also because of my gender. And that really killed, honestly, it absolutely killed anything, like, in terms of playing games with other people and with being a female streamer and gamer. Like, I am at 3,800 or so on Twitch, and my stuff kind of just blew up randomly. I don't know why, and it just kind of did. And it was that thing of, like, people who you thought were your friends, like all these guys that I was friends with, as soon as, like, my channel started to overtake theirs and started to progress and, like, do different things. And I had a lot of guys, like, just attacking me because of, like, all this stuff. And, like, it was either attacking me or guilt tripping me or complaining to me. And it was really, really hard to enjoy that success and enjoy that that progress and that journey, because I had these guys in my DMs being like, I work so much harder than you, you're just getting this because you're a girl. And like, there's a lot of, over like the last year or so, like, you know, there's like hot tub streamers, there's like all of this, there's this different side to Twitch now, and that's a whole other.
And we now have Kick. Like, we don't even need to get into that conversation. But
well, that was something I was thinking about today. I was like, should we bring that up? That's if for anyone listening, the Kick controversy is, like, as of like this week, last week, it's very recent. It's still, things are still unfolding. There's a lot of conversations about it, and like it's frustrating to me, because it's like, on one hand you've got these games that are, like, you know, gatekept and just sort of like, you know, it's really hard to enter into those spaces as a beginner, but also as a female, because, like, it's just terrifying. And, you know, some of the comments and the messages that you get, like, it's like, why would you bother? And then you've got this other side, which is like, you do well at streaming, you find your community, you find these people that relate to your content. And, like, I've had amazing stories come from my streaming career. Like, I had one person who had cancer, and they said that the only time that they would laugh is when they were laughing along with me in my streams. Like, there has been so much good and positivity to come out of my streams and my career in this industry, but so much of that is overshadowed by people, specifically men, but, you know, there's others as well, but specifically men who are very insecure in what they do and feel the need to blame that on your gender and blame that on it. It blows my mind, and it makes me so frustrated, because I just remember I broke down that night, like, so hard, because it was like, is that all, like, because I'm not out here, like, in, like, a bikini and, like, doing all this stuff, and, like, you know, like, that's a whole other conversation, but I'm not like, gaining followers and doing all of this stuff and using my gender to get that success. I'm just trying to play games and do stuff, but I have all of this hate in my DMs, in my comments, in everything that I don't talk about, because I don't want to give power to those people.
We live in this moment where it's kind of like our skill and our knowledge is never the first thing considered. It's the appearance. And it makes it a different playing field for us, and we have to navigate it a different way, and we have to think about things that others don't necessarily have to think about.
I think with the whole hot tub streamer thing coming onto Twitch as well, like, I think that gave more power to those comments, in terms of, like, well, look at all of these women who are doing so well and being so successful and doing all this stuff because they are female, which obviously, like, a lot of these women doing those streams are a lot fucking smarter than these people realize. Like,
yeah, and I think the people that are making those comments aren't seeing it as the women are actually using it as empowerment.
exactly.
Like they are using it to their own benefit.
Exactly.
They're not like, yeah, they're not silly.
Yeah. Sex
And I
work
think
is
the
hard.
people that are sit on the other side of the screen, which was mostly guys, like you said, not always, but mostly,
Yeah.
are like, yes, they're doing this for us, like we control them, but it's like, no. They're like, they're using what they know you like are thinking against
literally
you to either build a following or make money or like whatever it is.
They're literally just playing the game. Like,
Yeah.
and these women, like, I have looked at a lot of the behind the scenes sort of things of like how these women think and what they do, the business plans, the logic and strategy that goes behind it. Like, women are so fucking smart. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know proper statistics or anything, but Twitch is a majority male-based platform. There are a lot of males on there. And, you know, like, in my early days, even now, like, I get people in my streams going, oh my God, like, a female streamer? Like, that's crazy. Like,
really? It's still happening?
Yes. And, like,
Wow.
but, like, also, I guess, because of the numbers as well, like,
Yeah.
you know, like, over the last few years, I've had a lot of health problems. I don't know if you've seen much of my posts about, my body. I need a new body, honestly. This one is fucked. So I have been very on and off with my content and with Twitch and with streaming and all of that. But I have quite a decent following, and I get people who come in and are just like, wow, like, you know, how'd you get those numbers? And like, just seem very defensive. And I think once again that reflects a lot on insecurity, on like how Twitch can be really hard, and it any platform, streaming and creating content is a really fucking hard thing to do. A lot of people think that you just turn on a camera and the money comes in. Like, there's a lot that goes into it. I think
one of the biggest downfalls of Twitch in that regard too is that it doesn't hold, as far as I'm aware, because I haven't been part of the creator system, evergreen content, which is, and so when someone comes in, if you're not streaming a whole ton, or, you know, what a few times a month or whatever it is, when people come into your stream, they're taking you at face value for what that stream is in that moment.
Exactly.
And that stream could be like wildly different to your normal content, or it could be your regular content. And it's difficult to like tell, whereas in comparison to YouTube, you have your whole history. As long as you've kept your videos public and your past live stream public, anyone can go see and you can see how many videos they've made, and you can see all the effort that has gone in. Whereas Twitch, that kind of disappears.
Yeah.
Obviously, people are posting it on other platforms, but your whole history and all the work you've done is not immediately evident, and people are just taking whatever's happening in that second as everything.
I feel like with Twitch, you have to do a lot more work on other platforms to show people why they should come to your streams, but also why they should stick around. Like, with Twitch, like, that effort is primarily seen through how your channel is set up, how, like, your lighting and your camera looks, your gaming abilities, which is, once again, it's like that whole thing. And then, like, you've also got, like, how chat can interact with you. Like, all of that is more at face value. It doesn't go as deep as YouTube, and I haven't touched Kick. I don't know much about it.
I've never been on the website, honestly. I wasn't attracted to it immediately, and now I'm definitely
don't think I'm gonna look at it anytime soon. But like, with Twitch, like, you know, like, so many content creators are out here. You got to download your VOD, and then you've got to, like, slice and dice and, like, get all of those clips out, and then you've got to edit the clips to look pretty, and then, like, upload them, and, like, there's so much to it. Like, I'm really enjoying YouTube in terms of just it's a whole different ball game in terms of going live, because you've got to be present. You can't just like zone out. Like you're making a video, and
you're making a video while you're streaming. And I have found personally, I don't know like what the consensus is in general across the community, but I've found that my streams as VODs, like once the lives ended, get more attention than when I was actually live. And that can be like a whole lot more. And I think that's down to the way that YouTube currently treats live content. Is like kind of a mess over there. We don't really have a proper landing page or really proper categories. If you go into live gaming, it's like got VOD, like other big YouTubers videos before any live content. So it's like, how are you going to compete with like Mr. Beast Gaming when it's like listed above like all the live streams? And then it's also just very hard to find. But I'm lying in wait hoping that it will make a move soon. I feel like from reading the stuff that YouTube's been putting out, they're still constantly updating the streaming space and new tools. So we know they're working on it. But I think the biggest difference between YouTube and Twitch is like the community guidelines. And YouTube is very, I don't want to say nervous, but they're very wise to take a slow step into live streaming because they want to make sure their moderating tools are good, because to protect their advertisers. I don't think they're doing it to protect the creators. It is part of it, but I think the big part of YouTube, which is also, we can talk about this as well, another big difference between Twitch and YouTube is how you make your money if you are interested in making money on the platform, is they need to protect their advertisers because they can't lose the advertisers, because that's where all the money's coming from. And they want to make sure, we know YouTube's guidelines are much stricter than any other platform, even like Twitch and Kick, and especially Kick. But they need to make sure they have those in place before they really go, hey, live stream, everyone come live stream here, like we've got it down. And I don't think they're gonna take over Twitch because of the community guidelines hold them back, but it is attractive if you make a certain kind of content and you're willing to like play within the rules.
Honestly, it's really tricky to be a live streamer because you've got this flexibility and freedom to create whatever you like, but within these guidelines. And it's also kind of like the thing that I found over the last 3 years is the trap of the algorithm. Live streaming is such a mental game. Like, so that is one thing that I wish someone would have told me before I went into this. It is not just the mental game of being on camera, being present, watching what you say, things like that. It's the mental game of the behind the scenes. YouTube, especially YouTube, you know, it tears your content to bits and analyzes every single possible thing that you can think of and tells you whether it's good or bad. And if you're a small content creator, like everything's going to have the red, because it's so hard to get discovered, especially in lives on YouTube, like as a smaller creator. And that's one thing that I prefer about Twitch, is because now they've got like these like recommended people, and you can see how many people are live, and you can be like, oh, this person seems smaller, like I'll go support them.
I think I don't know if it's something that people who aren't creators on YouTube realize, but when you upload a video, even shorts now, you get a rank out of 10 for your own content, against your own content. So there's not just like, you're not just fighting a comparison against other people, like in your own head of like, how's my content performing compared to everyone else, and like the numbers are all there, and your analytics dashboard, of course, like as you said, breaks down everything. You are getting a rank against yourself of how you compared against your previous content. And immediately you've got a rank as soon as you upload.
Honestly, and then when you do good, you get confetti, and when you do bad, when you do bad, you get red everywhere.
It's
all these red numbers and arrows, and then you also get to see like how long people have stayed in your video for, and you get to see like where they came from, and like it for some people, for bigger streamers and for people who know what they're doing and have plans around these things, like it's probably a really useful tool. For small streamers getting into it, or for people who are doing this as a hobby or something that they enjoy, it brings up it honestly has fueled my imposter syndrome so fucking like I deal with so much more imposter syndrome than I've let on to people. Like, like I've messaged you a few times about things because it's genuinely like I have cried so many times about my content being like, I had so much fun making this, but I don't want to post because I don't want to see how terrible it is, and then me doubt, like, is this a good video or is this just really shit? Like, it's a whole mind game, and it's so hard to navigate. You have to have so much confidence in yourself, which is really hard when you don't fully know what you're doing.
It's like it's a bit of a battle because it's like information is power, and YouTube is giving you every bit of information, but then you're like, how the heck do I use it, and what does it mean? Like, okay, my click-through rate is this. All right, is it my thumbnail? Is it my title? Is it like the time of day? Like, is it the day of the week? Like,
honestly,
I don't, like, it's so hard to take that information and do something useful with it, and otherwise it's just breaking you down.
Literally. And it's like, I'm at the moment just trying to focus on streaming and making videos as a fun thing, because I was treating it as like a full-time job, and that really was fueled a lot by the algorithm, also on Twitch as well, like, but YouTube's is definitely more aggressive. But you see so much stuff, like, after I stream on Twitch I get emails about how I did, and you get to see that entire breakdown, and like, there's just it, like, you know, as you said, information is power, but it's also like YouTube has a thing where you can like hover over each thing that they're telling you about, and it will explain what it is, but there's not really a guide as to like, okay, what do I do now? And you know, if your numbers aren't looking great, or if they're not improving, and YouTube is like telling you this, it's like it can really just beat you down, like, so aggressively.
It really can. And I think also the big thing with the live streaming on YouTube is that the community isn't there. I think partially because of the way that YouTube live streaming is set up is that we don't have a dashboard, and I know what they call rating is live redirecting on YouTube. It's not completely open to everyone as soon as you start streaming, but also it's not as common. Like, when I first moved to YouTube, I was streaming a lot on YouTube, and it's just not a common thing. Like, it's not a common practice, not a known thing. Whereas like rating on Twitch, I feel like is a great way that you start building community. You start talking to other streamers if you've never had an interaction before. And I just remember like when I streamed a bunch on Twitch and I knew a bunch of people streaming on Twitch, like, you'd finish stream and then maybe you're in a group call and you jump on some games, or you just jump in a call and you're like talking about stream, like, with the people that are also streamers who are also mods in your stream, and then or you're doing it for someone else's stream and you're discussing how the stream went and like what are they doing with their streams and what's their plans. But with YouTube, like, I don't even know YouTube streamers. Like, I know
absolutely.
You.
I think you're like, the only
I don't
YouTube
really
streamer
know.
I know.
I'm trying to.
You are.
I know a couple, but it's not necessarily like the type of content I make, or there's just there's no communities around the streaming yet. So you kind of, but the same thing with just making video content. You're kind of on your own. Like, you feel like it's very isolating. You just feel like you're running your own battle.
Yeah, absolutely. And then ways. Like, there's this whole thing, like, at one point I was like going onto like Reddit and Googling like, what do I do? Like, and there's all these things, and it literally most people boiled it down to your videos are shit. And like, it literally is, that is a direct quote, mind you. And it was like it's hard because it's like, I enjoy what I make. Like, there are so many like parts of me that I love to create around and represent on my channel, and it's hard because it's like, everyone's like, you've got to find your niche, stick to your niche, study other people's channels, And if your videos aren't doing well, then they're shit and you need to make better videos. And it's like, oh my god, like that is, as a content creator, it's like, wow, like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. One of the things that I have slowly started to find is like community channels. So I don't know if you have heard or you watch Colin and Samir at all.
Yes, I love Colin and Samir.
Yeah, their podcast, and obviously they talk to huge creators and they're looking at this like overarching thing. But within their community, there's these like bubbles of like if you get in their Discord, like smaller creators that are all kind of in the same like space as you. And I kind of just like listening to the people that they interview, because it's just like, obviously they have like these people with huge followings, but you can like boil it down to like points that could help you. And it also kind of just like grounds you, makes you feel like you're got a community in a space that doesn't really have a organic community.
Yeah, it's really hard to like, it's really hard to be a content, oh my goodness gracious. It's really hard to be a content creator when you are living with that imposter syndrome, that insecurity, and like trying to be confident in what you do. Like I have so many people who tell me like so much that I'm this amazing content creator and I'm so inspiring and like all this stuff, and like you, I can't take a compliment at all. Like I genuinely, it is just, I think I'm missing that gene, because there is nothing, like I'm like, okay. And like,
or even knowing people are watching your content, it's like I voluntarily make this content, and yes, I voluntarily put it on the internet for people to watch, but I don't need to know that you know what I mean? Like, I don't need to know that you're watching it. It's
literally, just like, whenever I get a view on like one of my videos, like I literally, I posted a video at the start of the week, and I think I got nearly 10 subscribers on YouTube from it, which is a lot for my little channel, mind you. And
it's a lot,
I was just sitting there and I was like, why? What are you seeing that I don't? Because I thought that video was trash. And I'm like, and you're like, wow. And like so many people are like, you're such a good Minecraft builder. And I'm like, no. Like it's really hard to be a content creator when you've got the platforms that you're streaming on tearing apart your stuff and being like, here's what's wrong with what you do and what you enjoy, and you need to like do better, or like redo everything that you do so it's more marketable. And then the other bit of it is just like, I guess like finding the strength to keep going. Like I've seen so many content creators, especially over the last week. Deep breaths, everyone, with the whole, oh my goodness, like I can't, like, there's been 2 controversies that I've seen on Twitter, one about Kick and one about a platform, Horizons Onward, I think it is. Do you know about that?
I've not heard about this one. No.
So
I know all about the Kick one, but
well, that's a whole journey. The Horizons Onward one is, they're like a group of streamers who like fundraise a heap of money for like all these charities. I think they just did one for like the Trevor Project and stuff.
Right.
One of the founders collaborated with someone who has a history of being racist and saying slurs and like all this other stuff, and she posted a thing saying, like, apologizing and saying that she tries to be an ally towards Black people and people of color, and she only wanted to stream with him to give him a chance, I think, or there was something, like, I'll send you the tweet if I can find it. But it's this whole thing, and everyone's like calling her out and being like, you're like besties with this guy, like, you what do you mean? And then like she's actually stepped down as one of the founders of that organization, and like there's this whole thing, like, so I think I've seen that at least 20 to 25 people have left the platform, like the group, and it's just this whole thing, like just seeing it unravel and just being like, wow, like it's hard to be a content creator when you've got so much happening behind closed doors in terms of for me, imposter syndrome, the perfection thing of like trying new games, like why am I doing this, like what I do is shit, like why do people watch me, like, you know, all of this stuff. And but then going on to like stream and going on to videos and doing everything, like, you know, the bubbly personality, like the like everything is fine in the like in my life, and like it's hard to be vulnerable when you've got so many people looking up to you. Like, it's like, I know I can be vulnerable to people, but I also feel like there's a limit. Like, I don't want to upset my community, and I don't want to like show them that I'm not doing as well as they think I am, you know?
Yeah.
That's really hard.
Try to do a balance. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I think yeah, it's hard. It's also hard because in a way, as we're, you know, maybe it wasn't our intentions when we started, because it definitely wasn't mine, but when you start building a brand of your personal self, and then how many times we've seen similar situations to that where like dream teams have formed around a person, like a partner or a couple of people, and then something comes out and that whole thing falls apart. And then people get implicated because they were friends with them, and it's like, in some cases they should be implicated, in other cases maybe they're just like guilty by association because they knew them or they were involved in content that they created or were involved in. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of hard to manage. I've seen so many stream teams fall apart, come and go on Twitch for that exact reason.
Yeah, like it reminds me of the Jenna Marbles thing she said one time, and she was like, a lot of the people that I've done videos with or been friends with or spoken about, all this stuff is happening, and she's like, I didn't know about this, like I was just trying to be friends with people who I thought were nice, and I'm just trying to navigate my life like the rest of you. I feel like streamers, especially streamers with big numbers behind them, get put on this like pedestal, and you kind of forget that they're human. Like, even like I consider myself to be a small streamer. I used to have a lot more views and things than I do now, and once again, health problems like has implicated that a lot. But I remember like at one point, it's really weird because when I was having like 100 followers a stream, which was genuinely something that happened, which was terrifying to me, I felt so much pressure, and like I was having panic. I had to go to therapy because I was having panic attacks. I wasn't sleeping properly. I was feeling so much pressure to make things that people would enjoy, and like I felt like a lot of people were like looking up to me and all this stuff. And like now as a smaller streamer with less of that, it's like I'm grinding and I'm trying to get more people around me and stuff. But then I remember that mindset in that space, and it's like, is that what I want? Like, what's the goal here? Like it's just like, why am I grinding? What am I doing this for? And that's why I'm trying to have fun with it, because it's so easy to just get lost in that grind set. The grind set is so promoted and so like spoken about, but it's also like, you've got to also take some time for yourself, especially when you get put on a pedestal, like, you know, like people, like, you need to kind of find yourself again. Like,
it was interesting. We were mentioning niches before, so I'm interested to see what you think about niching your content. But recently I was talking to a creator, in a conversation with a creator, and they we're talking about how they grew, and they also started on Twitch in 2020. But for 2 years they played one game on stream, essentially. Like they did do a little bit of other content, but they had, and it would drive me mad, I think, for me personally, to play in a single game to make content around it for so long, and that like my content is so variety, like it's variety as variety comes. So but it's like, for some people it can be a way to like hit the growth that they want to hit, is to just grind it out. And it's that grind thing again, because they had mentioned also that it wasn't necessarily what they wanted to do, but it was working. So then you get stuck. And I kind of felt that a little bit when I was on Twitch with Minecraft. I think like Minecraft is one of the big ones you can get like sucked into, because I was seeing a lot of growth in Minecraft. And Minecraft is one of those games you can kind of make it where you want to make it, because it is sandbox. So you can kind of change it up and do like different things. but it's also, yeah, you go through the waves of like, yeah, I'm in Minecraft right now, and then you get to the other end, you're like, I don't want to open Minecraft. But if you get into that like area of you're a Minecraft creator, and I feel like I was very much on the cusp of that at one point on Twitch because I was doing a whole ton of Minecraft.
Yeah, I think I was similar to that content creator talk. I thought you were talking about me for a second, but I was like sitting here like, oh.
Well, I guess it's like a familiar story then. Like it's probably a lot of people feel like that because it can be very easy. Like I was like that with Minecraft. If you're seeing the growth and you're seeing the numbers, it is so easy to be like, well, I'm doing that now. Like that's people like it. I have people turn up. It's not that it's not enjoyable, because it's like a game you wanted to play anyway, but it can get to the point where it's like it's an expectation and then it becomes not fun anymore. And then that's when it can get into like, okay, now you're grinding. What are you grinding for?
The majority of games that I have played over the years has been Minecraft. I've branched out into things like Stardew and like Slime Rancher, and like I'm a very crazy comfort yet chaotic streamer. But
did you feel the pressure though, or were you doing it because that's a game that you just wanted to play anyway and you loved it?
Both, honestly. So I originally started I started streaming because I had my exams were online. I was in the middle of my degree and my exams were online, and I would do all this studying and prep, and the camera would come on because they would be invigilated, but I couldn't. Suddenly my brain would turn off and I'd be like, holy shit, I'm on camera. Like I don't know how to, like, someone's watching me, and I would have like panic attacks pretty much. Like I couldn't. I had so much anxiety. So what I did was I started Twitch, and I was like, no one's gonna watch, no one's gonna follow, but just having that light on, like on the camera, I'll get used to it, and I'll do better in my exams. And then like, you know, I'll do that for a few weeks, and then I'll stop, and here we are. I don't fucking know how we got here, but that happened. And
that's amazing though, like a bit of exposure therapy to get over the anxiety. Do you feel like it worked?
Definitely. Twitch has made me a lot more confident in, I say that after all the imposter syndrome stuff, but like
I don't, does the imposter syndrome go away though? That's what I'm like trying to think, because like I've gone through a few different stages, and I've getting opportunities with like developers reaching out, and I get to play some games. And like I used to think when I'm very starting out was like, if a dev reaches out to you to play a game, obviously it's amazing, but I was like, that's the pinnacle. And I was like, and then you won't have imposter syndrome anymore because you feel like you've made it. And it's like I still have imposter syndrome like every single time.
I see all of this stuff that you do and all these people working with you, and I'm like holy shit, that's like insane, like, and incredible. And I'm like, that's another reason why you're so inspiring to me, is because of the content you create and the things that you do. It's just like blows my mind. With the Minecraft thing, I originally started playing Minecraft. That was the only game that I was playing, and I just loved it. I was addicted to it, and I eventually I just went further, and I kept going, and I discovered, because when I was younger, going back to like, wow, like a throwback to that thing about like gatekeeping and segregation, Minecraft was for guys in school. I never met a single girl who played Minecraft in school ever, and I thought that Minecraft was for like 9-year-old kids, and that like it was a kids game. And my partner, he actually bought it for me, and we were in a distance relationship at the time, and I think the whole idea was like we could like play together and like and he's honestly the reason that I've started and done all this. Like he built my PC, he introduced me to Twitch, all of it. So like, yeah, guys, credit Graham for this whole thing, like all
amazing.
This, my partner. But Minecraft was my comfort game, and it actually became a way for me to escape from my brain. I would go onto Minecraft after days of uni and work, and I would just build. And I started streaming that every time I did it, and it got to the point where like I loved it so much, but like when it came to like when I would do like Stardew or Animal Crossing or like other things, everything would drop so significantly, and I was a struggling uni student. I am a diabetic. I have, as of at the moment, please don't change in the future, but like touch wood, but like I have 2 chronic conditions that fight each other. Actually, I'm very fun. So I treat my diabetes with this medication that the other chronic condition actually makes not work as what it should. So I have to take a medication for my medication to work. And it's just like, I'm going to do a podcast episode on like streaming as someone with chronic illness and like how that can impact like with fatigue and like other management stuff. But as someone who is chronically ill, I have been for over a decade now. I was a struggling uni student. I couldn't afford my stuff, like in terms of like my equipment for my diabetes, my medication, all of that. And I got to a point where Twitch was actually paying for that for me. Like I was working and I was studying at the same time, but I couldn't afford to be on the machines that I needed to be on. So any of the donations that I was getting and the subscriptions and all of that, that was actually paying for my medical stuff. And that was a lot of pressure for me to do well. And in terms of Minecraft compared to other games, I had a lot more people with the Minecraft thing. And it did get to a point where I was just sick of it. Like, I was like, I've played this, so I can't even imagine the hours that I've put into Minecraft. Like, honestly, it's ridiculous. But like,
can you find out? Is there? I don't know if I want to find out because like, I don't want to look. But is there like a thing?
I hope there's not, because like I'm the. If
Like
it was on
Steam tells you how many hours you put in a game, like it would just be, or like on the Switch, looking at the hours you put in like Animal Crossing or something, but Minecraft would just be like way
off
too much.
the charts. Like this, the world that I'm currently doing on my YouTube channel is like you see the videos, but you don't see the hours that I put in behind the scenes with resource gathering and with like doing so insane, absolutely fucking insane. But yeah, like you said, like Minecraft has been my comfort game, but like a few points it's been like, holy shit, I don't want to play it again. And that's another reason why I'm now gaming for fun. Like I'm trying to do things for fun. Like my YouTube channel stuff is primarily Minecraft stuff at the moment, because whenever I play Minecraft, I just hit record and then like I just make a long play out of it, and it's just me having fun. And it's like I haven't been this calm and not stressed about content creation in so long, and it's so nice, you know?
Yeah.
It's a really nice change. And I have you to thank for a lot of that, because I literally, I had a huge moment where I was like, every spare moment I've got, I need to be editing, I need to be filming, I need to be editing. Like there's so much that a content creator does behind the scenes that people don't realize. Like
you have the no switch off brain as well. I do the same. I feel like if I'm doing something that is not content or is not, it's like I should be doing content.
I'm wasting my time if I'm not.
It's it's like the grind thing. It's like it never turns off.
Yeah. And I got to the point, like my partner was trying to get me away from my computer and I couldn't. Like I had a massive panic attack and I broke down and I was like, I can't, like my stream schedule and my upload schedule at that time was insane, and I was trying to prove to people how hard I was working. I've been to therapy about this. Like my therapist loves a challenge, because he loves the challenge of me not only having my real life stuff but also my online stuff, and it was me trying to prove to people that I'm a good content creator because of how hard I work, how much content I'm putting out and all this stuff. And like I was putting out a ridiculous amount of stuff whilst working pretty much full-time hours, whilst studying a 60-hour-a-week degree. It was a lot, and I mentally was not in a good space, and I reached out to you and I was like, how do you make content? Like, what do you do? And you were just so helpful. So like once again, like I can't
think one of the biggest changes I make was throwing out my schedule. I think I kind of used to have a schedule with Twitch, and I think live content is a little bit different because it's like people need to be there in the moment, but with video content, people can be there whenever.
Exactly.
People can be there when it suits them, so I can be there when it suits me. So
Someone
I'll
put that on a
upload
t-shirt. Whoa.
We've got new merch.
New merch. A collab.
So if people want to watch it, they'll watch it when it like with YouTube. I think streaming is obviously like a whole different thing. But also again with YouTube, streaming on YouTube, it's going to be there.
Yeah.
And like I said, I get a lot of my views when I'm not even live. People are watching it later on when they can, and that's one of the things that Twitch misses out on. Obviously, the stream does stay up a little bit, but nothing about Twitch is UI encourages you to watch a stream that's not live. I don't think I've ever watched a stream that's not live on Twitch.
No.
Like, I don't think I've ever got. I've seen some clips of moments. Because people have been talking about it, like this thing happened and like, oh, it's clipped. You can watch the clip. I assume some people do. Some people will have like big streamers that or just their favorite streamers that they miss their stream and they'll want to watch it, but it's not encouraged by the platform.
No,
I don't feel like
not at all. And it's like I remember I'd get views on like my VODs on Twitch because a lot of my community are in such an inconvenient time zone compared to our time zone that they're like, well, that's like 4 a.m. for me when you're live. And that's another thing. Like we've gone on so many tangents and I love it.
I was gonna say that, can we talk about trying to be a creator in Australia, like in the oceanic region? It is so difficult. Like
it's so hard.
Everything happens in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
If anything's happening within the gaming community, it's announcements, streams. Like you can't be on top of anything.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know how there are Australian creators out there who cover gaming news. I don't know how they do it because everything happens at the most ridiculous times. I don't know how they feel like they are getting their content out on time to report on things. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's just, honestly, the time zone is terrible compared to everyone else's in terms of like streaming. And then you've also got like meet and greets and like packs and things like that. Like we've got packs coming up and I'm so fucking keen, but like
it's gonna be so good.
So many of my community have been like, I am so upset that I don't get to meet you because you're over there and I'm here. And it's like, the other bit as well is, I know with Twitch, like TwitchCon, but also with like just the promotion of streamers, Australia doesn't have the same thing that America and Europe have in terms of exposure to our platform. There are so many Australian content creators that are just, you know, it's so hard to be discovered, honestly.
Yeah, and access to opportunities, I feel like, as well. Like if like things that you wouldn't even think play into like the cost of travel. Like, let's talk about the flight prices in Australia. It is cheaper to fly to like another country. I think I saw something that it was cheaper to fly to another country than it was to fly between Brisbane and Melbourne within Australia.
That's so stupid.
It's like, it is ridiculous just to have the opportunity to even like do something like a 10 packs. Is so expensive. I feel like in comparison to like for someone who was in Perth to get to Melbourne, in comparison to someone who's like, oh, TwitchCons in LA or whatever, and in America, like it's so much cheaper to get across America than it is to get across Australia. Like, it's crazy.
One thing I love about being an Australian creator is when people ask you how far away you are from things. Like, I had a friend ask me like where my nearest Starbucks was, and I said 3 hours away, and she nearly fainted. And she was like in Europe, 3 hours you go across the whole country. Like,
or like maybe cross 2 countries. Like, it depends like where
and in Australia it's like that's down the road. Like that's like you haven't even gotten to like another town. Like, it's ridiculous.
It's actually ridiculous.
I feel like with girling, I feel like being someone who presents as female and or identifies as female and creates content or streams or like whatever you do, like as you said, like we've made progress in the right direction, but it's also, it's like, it feels like we've taken a lot more steps than we should have. Like, I feel like we have so far to go, but it's taken us so long to even get to this point where it's like, it's kind of accepted now that like girls play games. Not all games, but some games,
Yeah.
you know?
And I feel like we also, girls, women, female identifying people need to be more like forgiving on ourselves that it hasn't, like, it's okay to step away from a game when it's hard. Like for myself, like I used to play a lot of Valorant and CSGO, and it got to the point where I was kind of in that mid elo, where it's getting into like the areas where people are taking it really seriously, and it just like every game you're getting the like hate because
Yeah.
of like who you are, and it's just like, all right, I just can't, like, I can't fight that fight anymore. Like at this time I'm gonna like put that fight down.
Self-care is such a big part of like the whole thing. Like I also, one thing I do is I encourage anyone who's like thinking about streaming or is like or who does stream, like go get therapy for it, because like even if you're not like stressed or if you're not anxious, like I went because I could see myself going down that road, and it's helped me with so many strategies in terms of like not only managing content and managing my online persona, but like also just managing myself and still remembering that Shani and Charmander are different people. And
yeah,
because that is a really big challenge. Like, it's so easy to just like combine the two and just be like, I am Charmander, and that just sounded like I am Iron Man. Like it's literally it's that thing. Literally, it's that.
Yeah, I think one of the best things that I did unintentionally was not use my real name.
Yeah.
In any way when I started streaming.
Absolutely.
And I initially did that because I was working in a government role that didn't allow us to have other jobs or make other income, and also it was like a professional role that's very separate to like what I did on content. I didn't want people to search up anything and have them two things linked together.
Yeah.
And crossover. It's a job that I'm no longer in, but initially that's what it was. But it's much easier to have, not that Alidi is different to who I am. Like I'm exactly the same. I'm not putting on a persona, but it's much easier to like just be like, oh, they're hating on the content person, not who I actually am.
Yeah.
Does help a bit.
Yeah, I definitely, like, when I first started streaming, like, actually, like, being like, okay, we're not just doing this for a few weeks. I was like, okay, I need to make a decision whether I'm acting or whether I'm myself. And I am so myself, it's ridiculous. And that's one reason why streaming is so validating, because it's literally just me being me. Like, if I was pretending, I would have so much more, like, imposter syndrome and just things in my brain, because it's a protective mechanism, you know, like being on the internet is fucking terrifying. But
I don't know how anyone would like, I feel like it would be exhausting to have to put on a performance or an act for so many hours, because usually when you stream for like a long time. Like how does anyone keep that up for so long? I don't know how you would do it.
Honestly, it's hard, because like as I said, like when you get put on that pedestal as well, like I feel like you lose a bit of yourself in that thing, because you need to like keep the vibe. Like some people are going through some really hard shit, and you're that person that they want to watch to get out of that, and sometimes it's like you've got to not be yourself, and it's hard. Like, you know, where's the line? Like, streaming is, there's so much that I want to do on the podcast in terms of streaming and discussing, like I want to do an episode on like mental health and streaming specifically, and just all these things, because like it's stuff that I wish I'd known when I started content, and I just there's so much under the surface that people who only view and don't create, like they don't understand, and I think bringing that to light really allows you to appreciate the amount of work and the amount of like mental effort that goes into this, you know?
Yeah, it's a lot, and I don't think people probably realize it.
Yeah, honestly. I feel like we covered a lot of our bases in terms of like imposter syndrome and being a female or a female identifying person creating content. Like, I feel like we've covered a lot of our bases, but I have one final thing before we say goodbye, and that is, I want to know, you've been streaming now 3 years, if you started in 2020?
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who is starting to create content now, or is thinking about streaming or YouTube, or just going into that? Do you have any advice that you would give them that you wish you'd known?
I have one piece of advice that is something that I have just recently been thinking about for my own content, and I think it can help everyone, is that comparison kills creativity. As soon as you are...
Put on a t-shirt.
As soon as you are comparing your content, like the times that I felt like my creative flow was at its greatest is like I had like blinkers on, like with the horse racing, like I did not care what anyone else was working on, because like I had this cool thing and I was having so much fun with it, and it's like was not comparing to anybody, and the creativity was just like flowing. Absolutely. But as soon as you start comparing, it like slowly pulls away at your creativity, and you get less and less, because you're like trying to recreate someone else's thing, whether it's a vibe, whether it's a specific video or whatever. And it's very hard. Saying that is super hard not to compare, as we talked about before with like especially YouTube is like comparing ourselves to ourselves and to everyone else with the analytics. It's very difficult, but you have to try and like learn to catch yourself when you're comparing and be like, you can appreciate and you can be inspired by content, but leave it at that and not comparison.
Absolutely. I feel like one of the most beautiful things about YouTube and Twitch is the range and the like variety, and I feel like it's so easy as a content creator to see, well, that's working for them, that's what I should be doing, like, and you lose the fun, you lose yourself, because you get so caught up in the numbers, and you get the whole thing, like we just spent an hour talking about it, but like there's so much to it, and in the end, like, if you can put those blinkers on and just fucking do things that make you happy, I think that's a really good start, honestly.
Yeah, and we have to remember that, like we said before, like we are only just coming into the space where it's been starting to be acceptable for women and girls to be playing games. And to like remember that we're not on a path, we're creating the path. Like we are literally having to create the path for ourselves, because it wasn't here. Like nobody laid it down, but we're laying it down for the people that come after us. So maybe we won't get to enjoy the golden years of women in gaming, but someone will.
Absolutely. And
somebody will.
Being able to say that we are people who experienced, all of these things, like people coming in and being like, oh my god, you're a girl who's playing games on Twitch, like, things like that, like, it's crazy.
Wait, can I show you something? This is something that I've discovered recently, and I have it on my desk.
Please do.
Someone was recently going through our old gaming collection cupboard of all the games that I have, like Nintendo 64, Game Boy games, and all that. And one of the games that's in there is this Barbie Ocean Discovery game. Okay, and don't get me wrong, this is a great game. On the surface, it's Barbie, but it's really just like a puzzle game. It's like teaching you how to do puzzles, really. Cute. I don't know if you ever played this, but
I played. This is one of my fun bits. I never played games growing up. Like I played Freddy the Fish and Barbie Mermaid game.
Can I tell you? This might also play into this.
Yeah.
One of the things that someone noticed in this box, which I never noticed growing up, but it's like, this was the messaging we were getting.
Yeah.
This game literally says software for girls at the top. Like that little message there under Barbie says software for girls. And this is just the tip of the iceberg of what we grew up with. This game came out in 1999. Showing my age here, but I was about to enter kindergarten in year 2000. So literally as I was a kid,
I was born in 99.
Like, this is what we were sold. You were born in 99, I'm a bit older than you. But this was on the shelves.
Yeah.
Like, if this was for girls, the other games might not have said software for boys, but it was implied. Like, if this was for girls, then the other stuff's not for girls.
Honestly.
Like Pokemon. At the same time, I was playing Pokemon.
Yeah.
On Game Boy, like things like that. And so There's the tip of the ice. This is solid evidence of what we have
Yeah.
went through. Nothing wrong with Barbie. Love Barbie.
Love
But
Barbie.
um, we were pigeonholed into a box of, if you are going to game, this is what you're going to play.
Yeah.
And that's it. You're going to play a Barbie game.
Yeah.
Not anything else that was available. And that was the advertising we were fed. That was advertising that was fed to the generation before us, like parents buying games. Because I feel like that was a big thing too. Like when you're a kid, the games are bought for you, so you just take what you get. And I think like a big reason that I was into games that I probably wouldn't have been is because I had an older brother.
Yeah.
And if you had someone, and people with like brothers probably also found this, that you get exposed to games, or they get bought games that you never would have had an opportunity to play. But when did you get into gaming? That's interesting.
My partner. So
Amazing.
yeah, so I only played, so my grandpa had like a PC, really old computer at his house, and we had like the discs of Freddy the Fish and Barbie Mermaids, and I think the Scooby-Doo game, and we just played that. But my parents were very like, you know, go outside and play. Like it wasn't like you can't be on the computer for too long. So when I started, my partner is like, I say this in the most loving way possible. He is such a nerd, and I love. He's the pinnacle of gamer guy. Like he built my PC. He is the one who fixes all the tech. Like if my parents or my family has like a technology problem, they call me to talk to him. Like he's amazing, and I love him so much. But he actually, like, he lent me his DS and his Pokemon games. Like I played Heart Gold was my first Pokemon game, and that was when I was 16 or 17. And like, which, think about, I'm 24 now. Like that was not that long ago. I started playing Minecraft in 2019 or 2018, and so like I'm still, that's another reason why I'm so scared to play games, is because I never had that like background. I never had that going into it. And like, you know, my partner, he's been playing Minecraft, for example, like since he was like 8, and now he's like nearly 25, and it's like his knowledge about games and how things go, and he is so supportive and encouraging to, like, you know, try things and like go into things, and like, you know, people aren't watching you for the game, they're watching you for you, like all of that. Like he's absolutely incredible. But it's hard being a female content creator with none of that background. Like I just enjoy talking and I enjoy really cozy, casual games, and I'm kind of like discovering that world and discovering that there is a place for me in this, because my experience with gaming was like, you know, shooters and like Skyrim and like things like that. Like I didn't think that there was a space for me to enjoy stuff casually, and there really is. Like it is so much more diverse than you think. And like for anyone who is thinking about being a content creator, anyone who is a female identifying person who is feeling like scared to enter that area, there is totally a space for you. Like it's not as big of a space as we would like for that to be yet.
If you want to get into something that you haven't before, if you search for it, you can probably find the community that's a safe space community. Like I know with the like shooter games that I've been in, there are discords that are like protected safe space. Like you have to verify your identity to be in there, and you know it's moderated, and you get to play, and then you just play games with that community instead of open lobbies. It's one of the best things that you can do as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think playing games and going into this field, into this part of the internet, like it's a lot less dangerous and scary than you probably would have had the experiences like 10 years ago. Like I came into this space thinking, okay, so I'm going to be sexualized, I'm going to be bullied, I'm going to be ridiculed, I'm going to be fat shamed, I'm going to have so much stuff happen, and all of that has happened to me. I've had some absolutely awful experiences being a content creator, but at the same time, like, the amount of positive things that have happened in my life has been tenfold. Like, I've made so many incredible friends on the platforms that I'm on. I have gotten to do some really cool things, and, like, I, like, never would have imagined this insecure being who was just too scared to be on camera, like, ending up like this. Like, it's insane to me, you know? Like, it's crazy. And if you're thinking about going into it, female or not, like, fucking go for it. Honestly,
Yeah.
It's definitely helped me become the person I am today, and it's made me a lot more confident in talking and in being on camera and just being myself. It's just, I can't put into words.
Yeah, I feel the same. I definitely feel like it's weird because, like, the confidence growth is crazy, but it's all, but, like, you've been teared down so much in the space.
It's
like any little
crazy
thing will be picked on and torn apart. But then somehow you come through the other end with more confidence. It's kind of crazy.
It's like I'm more confident in, like, talking to people and, like, presenting myself more, like, as myself. But then I've got that other side where I'm like, oh, all my content is shit though. Like, I'm like, there's just so many layers to it. But
I feel like I'm at the point where maybe the confidence just comes from, like, there's nothing no one can say that it hasn't been said now.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Literally, like, if you're saying something, someone's already said it. Like, you're not original. Like, it's been there, done that.
Yeah, you kind of learn to deal with the haters and the comments and all of it. Like, it's a process, and it's a journey, and it's, you know, it can be hard at times, but if you can find, like, those people and those spaces that can lift you up and, like, you know, remind you of, like, the reality, because it's so easy to get lost. It's so easy to, like, forget, like, oh, I'm actually a good content creator. I've just got, like, 12 things saying that I'm not, that don't actually, like, know me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a process, but it's a very rewarding one, and I highly recommend going on it if you are thinking about it.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing my podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for sitting with me. I have had so much. I love doing these. There's honestly, I love this space. I love sitting down with you guys. So yeah, thank you for sitting with me.
Yeah, it's so great. It's like a level of conversation that you don't usually get to have a lot of the time. So it's so much fun.
Yeah. Do you have anything that you want to plug? Anything that you're doing?
What am I doing? I'm gonna be at PAX, so if anyone's watching
Hell
this before
yeah.
PAX, you'll find me around PAX. I'm making bracelets, so if anyone wants to trade bracelets, yes, amazing. I've already made some.
I'm doing, like, so, you probably can't see it. Hold on. Oh god, it's all tangled. I'm crocheting bracelets.
Oh,
so
amazing.
I have
That's so much more skill than me. I'm just doing beads.
God, I've got the beads, but I'm crocheting the beads into the crochet.
Yeah, that's so good.
I just have this wool laying around, so I was like, I might as well just use it to make bracelets, and I'm hoping it works. Like,
it will work out. They'll be amazing. They'll be so much more high quality than the rest of us.
Doubt it.
But you can pretty much find me anywhere under Aleti. I'm on most platforms under that ALEATY. I have a book.
You have a book? We didn't even talk about the book.
I know, we talked so... Hold on.
The book was, like, the main thing I was going to bring up. Alita wrote a book about the entire thing. Like,
I wrote a book on this topic. It's a children's book. It's a rhyming story, but it basically follows the unnamed main character in, like, realizing that they too can play video games. It's set kind of like at school age, where they're facing a lot of things that we talked about, like, you can't play games because you're a girl situation. This is available on Amazon or Barnes & Noble online. Paperback or ebook, whatever you want to do. But yeah, that started as a passion project, and
I love it so much.
Worked hard on that, so I hope people enjoy it. Yeah, and then mostly my main platform is YouTube. That's my primary platform. And
all of the links that Lady's talking about will be in the show notes or the description down below, depending on where you are on YouTube, on whatever platform you consume your podcasts on. It'll be all in there. But yeah, thank you for sitting with me. I appreciate the hell out of you. You are such a fucking inspiration to me. Like, I am so honored to have you here. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I still can't take a compliment.
We'll get there. You and I are both going to work on it. One day we'll be able to accept each other's compliments.
Yep. One day.
One day. Guys, thank you for sitting with me. I appreciate the hell out of you. If you haven't already, make sure that you follow or subscribe on whatever platform you are on. Click all the buttons. There's a lot of them there. Just click them, honestly. It's free. It takes like 2 seconds. And I have merch now. I'm actually wearing it. Shameless plug. I'm wearing my Small Bean merch. So we got that there. We've got a really cool design in the back. I've got my mug I've been casually sipping out of, and so much more stuff. It's all on the website. It'll all be down below. Yeah, go check it out if you haven't already. And also go check out Elity's stuff, because honestly, like, it's such good content. Like, it is such good content. Thanks you guys for hanging out. I appreciate you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.